Good morning, my dear student. Today, in the Bone Lab, want to speak something about the DSS. DSS, it is actually known as sliding screw system. Sliding, actually, in true sense, compression, dynamic compression is basically done here. Though we talk about the dynamic compression technique in DCP, actually in true sense that is not a true dynamic compression. Not true sense, because in dynamization doesn't help you. Whatever you achieve during time of operation of compression, that is enough. Yes, subsequently no more compression is possible by the device. So that is in true sense is not a true dynamic compression. Dynamic means in what? That while you act the board, force is working over there will be compression. So the other part is missing here. Even then, we try to understand that what exactly is being desired in this case. Exactly it is desired. Supposing you have a trochanteric flexure over there. So to accelerate the process of union, what we can do, if we can able to do compression at the flexure side, and if it is can be done synchronously, that gives more stimulus. How synchronously? While muscle power is working over there, the system is devised in such a way there will be compression. So in simple word, I will make you understand again. Supposing there is a flexure over there. Okay, so one unit is this, another unit is this. So if you do fix up this one unit, and another part is also being fixed up another unit, and the coupling is being done where you can have a sliding between the two. If so, then it will help us to compress. Once the fragment is moving, and once the barrel is moving like this will accelerate this process of compression at the flexure side. So this is basically pistoning effect. It is just like pistoning. Yes or no? The piston is moving, it is pistoning. So that can be done only when load is being over. So if the muscle load is working over there, you will find more compression there. Now, can it be done in all the cases? Certainly no. Certainly no. Supposing there is a combination at this area, very grossly community, or there is certain parts is missing here. This barrel technique is going to fail. This will do an infection while there is two bones are contacting here. A simple thing. I want to have a contact here. So if this part is missing, so this force working will be not the desired one. So there will be more deviation this way because there is no force, no contact between these two. So if you suppose this is a fragment over here, this is a fragment over there, if you do compression over there, it is well and good. But if there is a missing part, so it is not going to help you. So on the other hand also there are certain things biomechanically, if the flexure is not in the same perpendicular axis of the barrel, what is the meaning? So if the barrel is working there, and the flexure is not in the corresponding axis of this barrel, it is also going to fail. So necessarily you have to have a flexure like this, where you can have contact between these two, and while the force is working over there, it will cause compression or contact between these two. So that means it indicates that all the cases you cannot go for this. So there is a limitation in the DSS. So what are the limitations then? The one factor is that this is being desired to be done in a stable flexure. Now what is a stable flexure? What is a stable flexure and what is an unstable flexure, you must understand. And Evans classification you are supposed to know. At least you must have a good concept about the trochanteric flexure. Okay, fine. You must have a good concept, you must read and there are so many classifications, but at least one classification you are supposed to know it very nicely. So, what does it meaning with us? That you classify basically in the Evans classification, you basically do what thing? What you got stable fracture or is called unstable fracture. That means this device is applicable for stable fracture only, not in unstable fracture. Now, what are the unstable techniques? You have to know. So, this is what I am trying to do before going to the technique proper. We must know in what cases is going to be done, what cases we should not do it. Initially, while it was in the evolution period in 1940, 50, something like that, while the concept was evolving, they used to apply this concept in both stable and unstable fracture. Subsequently, it is being noticed that in the unstable fracture, the results are not good. There is shortening, there is angulation, there is gap through, so many problems are there. So later on, nowadays in today's scenario, though a lot of initial things are available, like PFN and other things also coming. So the role is of ESS is now limited to only the stable fracture of the trapezal fracture. Now these stable fractures are what? Where you say it unstable. So as such, by the definition of Evans, that if you reduce the fracture size, so the way you are going to do. So if you are reducing the fracture, you must have a good reduction in fracture. Certain prerequisites are there in this technique. Then you must have a good reduction. So how to do the reduction? So that's a different thing. Technique is different, but you must have a good reduction. Unless and until you have a good reduction, you cannot do it. Because the burial technique is a fixed angle. We will talk about the implants later on. Then what is the angle? What is the size of the screw? Where it should be put up. But before that, we must know where to do and where not to do. Where not to do is no important. One, I have said the reverse fracture. What is the reverse fracture? You are supposed to know. You must have a good concept about the fracture, trapezal fracture, to know that what is called stable, what is called unstable fracture. The stability and instability is basically designed on the basis of the muscles acting only. Muscle acting only. Supposing what is the muscle acting here? What is the muscle here? Abductor? Gluteus. This is abductor muscle which is working like this. Another muscle is working over there is your adductor muscle. Yes. So these are two counteracting muscles. So that is head, your resultant force. Working over there, joint reaction force basically force, diverging force working upon it. Yes. So it is pulling like this, it is pulling like this, right? Now in this situation, what exactly is called stable fracture and unstable fracture? So if there is a fracture like this, okay? If there is a fracture like this, mark up in this one. If there is a fracture like this, so what is going to happen? If it is a fracture like this fragment is going to be pulled like this. Yes or no? Because abductor muscle. So this fragment will be pulled like this. So try to understand. Firstly, you are supposed to know what is called stable and unstable fracture. So if the fracture is like this, come. If the fracture is like this, what is a stable and unstable? You must have a very good concept about this. If you do not know this thing, it will not possible to justify the fixation here. So what is a stable and unstable fracture? Try to understand. One is the abductor muscle pulling over there, and if the muscle is pulling over there, what will be what will be force working in the flexor side? Is it a distracting force or a compressing force? It is a compressing force. Why compressing? So see, if the flexor line is like this, if the force is working like this, one is pulling like this, fragment is pulled like this, another fragment is pulled like this, the flexor line is this, so it will help to compress it. So it is a what type of flexor? Then it is stable flexor. So necessarily it is stable. Now just reversing is happening like this. Supposing there is a flexor like this. The flexor like this, now these things are happening like this. Now flexor line is now like this, reverse. What is happening to go? Now if the fragment is pulled like this, and this fragment is going like this, the adductor is pulling like this, adductor is pulling like this, what will happen to the flexor side? So they are widening open. They will be widening open. So in this situation, this technique is going to fail. This technique is going to fail because you cannot have a compression where other is going to fail. So that is why this is very important to understand. Besides what? Posteromedial contact is very important to us. This particularly, see, so ultimately what is DSS? DSS is basically tension band wiring, a tension band plating system. The principle what we apply in DSS is called tension band plating. In tension band plating, what is the prerequisite? Prerequisite is the intactness of the fur cortex. Yes, while you are doing the tension band also wiring, I told you that the intactness in the fur cortex, medial cortex or fur cortex is very important. If it is not there, it is going to fail. I told you this thing also. While talking about the flexor obliquenon, while talking about the flexor patella and medial malleolus also, this is important to understand that while you are doing tension bending, you are supposed to have an intact medial cortex or fur cortex. If the cortex is intact or is not intact, then it's going to fail. Because the device is not going to have a support there and it will fail. Getting my point? One. So this is what I am saying, indication and contraindication. Where one should apply, where one should. Unstable, no. So one is the reverse oblique. Another is the combination here. Another thing is that if this selfie, if this part is very much grossly comminuted, this part is very much grossly comminuted, when you are going to have a support here. So in this case again you are going to not have it. So you must have a good support in the lateral cortex also, because the plate is being supported. Yes or no? So if this part is very much grossly comminuted, and where you are going, if this part is very much grossly comminuted, lateral wall, so you cannot have a good support of it. So if you cannot have a support is, there are two units basically, and you want to compress. If the other unit is very much grossly comminuted, and how can you get compressed? You cannot have, because this is shutter. So the limitations are then coming up. So these are the limitations where you should not do DSS. Understood? So understood is that the flexor is, whether the flexor is stable or unstable, whether there is a medial cortex is intact because of the tension band concept, whether the lateral wall is intact or not intact. And fourth thing is that after reduction also intraoperatively, that you are supposed to have a stable reduction. If it is unstable reduction, it is not a good thing. But that can be converted to stable by addressing the posteromedial component separately sometimes. So sometimes people used to do intactness for this the extra surgery or extra fixation, so that you may reverse or the posteromedial fragment can be brought back to the original position and constructed is stable and do the fixation. Additional step. That is my point. So basically tension band wiring you must know. The tension band principle is supposed to be. If you want to apply this, okay, you can do it, but you have to reconstruct that part, bring it back so that you can have it principle will be adhered to. So this part should be clear. So basic before going for here. Then certain things are there. See, while you talk about the implants also, that ultimately you are doing fixation separately here and separately here. Basically, then coupling it with each other so that there is force working between these two and there is compression there. So to do so, you are supposed to know the CCD. What is CCD? Caput column diaphyseal angle. So Caput column difacial angle or CCD is basically around 125 to 135 or something like that. In elderly patient you will find this angle is a bit less. Some can find it is almost vertical. On an average around 135 degree or 30. So most of the plates which commonly used is 135 degree. But do not have this concept like this that we do have only 135. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. So you will find in certain X-ray in the day-to-day practice also find that somebody is having an angle like this, more whereas. Okay? And somebody will find dorman over this almost vertical sort of thing. Yes or no? So this angle may vary from here to here. On an average it is true, it is here. But in this situation, if you try to accommodate a fixed angle plate in this axis which is not corresponding to it is also not a good idea to do. That means you should apply the angle depending upon the CCD. That is why the plates are coming, though on an average we used to apply 135. But it's coming 125, 130, 135, 140, 145 also. Certain cases, because this unit is different, this unit is different, and you must have a good holding in the same unit. Good holding is possible that the axis is corresponding to this axis of this bone. If your device axis is corresponding to this, if the device axis is your angle is like this, and your CCD is like this, it is going to come through. So your fixation should be central to this part, so that the force working over there is becoming central. If it is eccentric one, so supposing, see, if your device is fixed over there, right? Device is fixed over there, but your angle was like this. So in this case, this force working will be directed to this direction. So if this direction is directed this direction whole, then it may come out something, because it is not going to hold it. Understood my point? Yes or no? No. It is not understood. But my point is that that you do not have this concept that it is only DSS is one, so commonly applied 135 degree. Most of the time, it is true. Ever on a number because it is same, it is nicely fitted. But it is not always true. Why? Because if you see in day-to-day practice also, the CCD is different to the different person. Somebody used to have a CCD like this. You can see it is almost straight line sort of thing. Angulation is very less. And even elderly patient which is around say 80 years old male coming to you will find because of osteoporosis there is a CCD is coming down very shortly. Or even also congenitally is having 125 degree, 120 degree. It is true, it is happening. So now my question is that supposing CCD is almost like this, and if we apply a plane in the direction of 135 degree only, what will happen? That will be eccentric one. So you have to place, because you cannot change the angle with a fixed plane. You cannot change it, you cannot bend it, you can bend it. It is fixed. So there is no. You have to compromise somewhere. If you want to make it central here, that means you are reversing the existing angle. Two things may happen here. One, you are trying to fit it accordingly. Either it will be like this eccentric one, yes, or if you try to fit it here, then you have to change the angle of the bone. Somewhere they have to compromise. So that is why, so CCD determines the plate we are going to use it, angle. So you do not have this mindset that only 135 is available. No. It is 125 to 145 plates are available. Actually, on an average, we are using 125. So to know it actually better, if you have the ABB carry both sides, you know what is the angle in the other side. You can have a rough idea. You can template also. You can see the angle. You can draw the angle. You can see actually what is the angle here. And to be more precise, one should define, use the angle which is existing at your side. Understood? So that is why do not have this concept as always used to on a fixed angle. If you do so, you have to compromise somewhere. Either your placement is not central, or if you are doing so, you are changing the angle, the existing angle of the person. So that is why the angles are different. Angles are different. And basic point is that if you are able to hold it in central part of this area, it is always well and good. Now, if you hold it in central part, it is well and good. It is holding it in the central part is always well and good. And you must have a good anchorage of the plate over this side. Over this side. So that is the basic thing. So we are supposed to know. Technical part I will tell you. What are the technical things we will talk. How we are supposed to go for reduction, exposure and other things are. But basic principle is I need to understand. What is the principle you are going to apply over there? What are the limitations you have? And where to select it and where not to select it. These things should be clear. Everywhere everything is should be fixed. So if you are deviating from the principle, is going to fail. Cut through another problems are too much in DSS. DSS is also disrepute. Recently you will find a lot of cases of failures. All because of the not adhering to the basic principle. While you are deviating from the principle, you will have a lot of catastrophe. Sometimes you will find the screw is cutting out, sometimes it is going inside towards the pelvis. So many things are happening. So adhere to the basic principle. Otherwise, disasters may take place. Okay, sir? So this part should be clear, and you must have a good concept about the angle and the plane. And today we will talk about the screw. This is, what is the name of this screw? This is a screw. Okay, what is this? This is a compression screw. This is to be like compressed with plate. We will show the plate later on. What is the diameter of this area? What is the length? Diameter is almost 22. Diameter of this area is 8 mm. And diameter of this area is almost 12.5. Let us talk about this screw first. Today, one device is this, another device we are going to coupling with the other side. So you must know about this screw also. This screw, you know, for the pediatric age group, there is a different size. Pediatric age group is a different size. For the adult, this is the thing which we are going to apply most of the time. Length is different. It is coming from around 65 onwards. 60 is also available, 60 to 110 commonly. So 60, 65, usually in a 5, in the difference of 5. 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, usually up to 105, at the most of the time. At number one thing. Number 2 is that is your length. Length is variable depending on this what length you are going to use. You have to determine during the time of surgery. 1 point. That is why you must have wide range of your screws. 1. That is length. And regarding the diameter and other things, this diameter is almost 8 mm diameter. 8 mm diameter. This is 8 mm diameter. This is around 22. And this diameter is 12.5. So this thing you are supposed to understand. What is this thing? And while the barrel is coupling, you are supposed to have a gap between these two. So if it is coupling, supposing a barrel is going to fix up here, so it is not be fixed in up to this. Why? If you are taking a very short screw and you are taking a very long barrel, because the barrel part is also coming in different size. I will tell you while we will talk about the barrel part. There are two types of barrel, one is short and long. Short and long. There are two types of barrel, short and long. So you have to select, and there will be sufficient gap between these two to have good compression. Otherwise, if you are keeping it here, there is no space to play. If you are not playing, this is stuck in. There is not going to happen. Understood point? So you have, what is the size? Size you know, no? What is the size of the 8 mm diameter? This is 22, this is 12.5. Core diameter is like as this. Threads are so big, see. Threads are this is called pitch. This is going to place in the central part. Okay, sir? Then again other things are your barrel part. Barrel we will talk later on because barrel is not here. This is a screw. Acha, this compression screw is also coming in different size. One is 29, another is 36. 29 36 depends upon the barrel, the length. 29 36 is dependent. Acha, one point was that is it always mandatory to give or no? It is not always mandatory to give. It is not always mandatory to give. It's not very essential. Because you are doing dynamic force will be working. But to some extent you can help it to have a compression at the time of the surgery. Yes, now how to give compression at the pressure? What are things we will talk? So after fixation, then technique we will talk, but how to give the compression at the flexor side. One thing is this. Before that, what you can do? Before that, you can release the traction. So traction release is also help you to bring the fragment together. One. Number two, this screw. Again, which is coming in 29 and 36. Depending upon what is your, if you short, long, big. Okay, sir? 1, 2. Number 3, any device you know by which you can additionally give compression there, it is the plate. We will talk about the plate when it is available and different types of plates are available. Actually, though conventionally you are using either a round hole plate or a oval hole plate. Round hole plate is a static one. But oval hole plate, if you are using, you are again applying the principle of DCP here. So thereby again additionally you can get compression thing. Understood? Okay, sir? The plate is also coming in different. Yeah, this is plate we will talk you. So the plates also are different things. The additional things are there also to give support in a case where there is this part is supporting. So plain round hole plate, one is oval plate. Again there is some modification in the plate to help. Suppose in osteoporotic bone, if your screws are in the same line, this is not a good thing. So if the screw is in zigzag way, suppose one screw is here, another is here, another is here, another is here, that holding is not. That can be accentuated by extending laterally also device. So plate is being divided in such a way you can have better holding. Are you getting my point? If your screws are in the same line, there is every time this is very device fixation is not good. But if it was have you noticed the DCP plate? You will find they are not the same thing. The screws has to be one is here, another is here, another is here, another is here. They are not something. If you are in the same line, that is not a good holding. So that is why it is being designed like this. So same thing is applicable here also. So in the same line is not good. It is good. Because most of the time, which group of patients are coming? Osteoporosis. Most of the time it is insufficiency fractures. So necessarily you have to think of that point also. If the bones are very, that is why the people are also coming with locking device here. So plate is being modified to round hole to DCP, then again lateral extension to have better holding, then again your principal locking plate is being also applied so that your process is good and the holding is better in the case where there is no osteoporosis. Okay, sir? So that is this. This is same. Size is different depending upon the whether you are using children or the adult. Adult same. Only thing is the length. You have to select the length. 65 onwards go up to the 100. This part is fixed. 8, 22, 12.5, same. Another you plate. We will talk about the plate. We will devise also how the plate in the fix also and define modification of the plate also. Define modification of the plate, they do have a better holding. So today we stop here. Next time we will talk about how exactly supposed to put all the things. Reduction is what reduction technique you are going to apply one. And most important thing is this. How to place the guide wire. And one thing is that there always must have a stable reduction. That is true. Make the head, you have to make it stable before putting it. Because if the stability is not being achieved or if you do not do reduction, so you cannot negotiate it. Once you are fixed, it is fixed. You do not have anything to do because this while there is a coupling between these two, they become a one unit sort of thing. Then one unit cannot be made this way, that way. And plates are also heavy duty plate, you cannot bend also. So that is why all dependent upon this thing. After reduction, the placement of the guide wire in a proper place is the most important step. We talk how to go ahead with this thing, how to put the guide wire, up to what extent we are supposed to go the guide wire, what extent are supposed to guide wire, and then also subsequently how to remix, how to set the river, and what is the importance of different parts. What is the importance of the different parts, and up to what extent you are supposed to do the rimming. That is also important. It is also important. If you are not doing adequate rimming also, that is also going to fail, it is not going to help. So we will talk about this thing later on in the next class with the other devices. So today we stop here. We will discuss.